highly anticipated 60HE update coming at you right now, because we're so close to mass production and you're wondering what's going on. Are those keyboards in the production line, yes or no? Now, if you looked at this timeline, then you know that we have a production validation test this week, which is PVT. That is still happening, perhaps, or it's gonna happen next week. I'll get back to that. Then we're supposed to have mass production happening on the 8th of April, which is in a couple of weeks, which is kind of the same thing. And the reason why is because there's been a COVID-19 lockdown in Shenzhen and Dongguan last week. Now, that lockdown was quite serious because everything closed down. Nobody was able to go out of their house and factories are not allowed to work. What was the impact? Suppliers that were supposed to deliver parts for these productions were not able to do anything. They were not able to manufacture or make any of these deliveries. And then our factory, which is also located in Dongguan, and a lot of these suppliers are located in Dongguan, was also not able to do any kind of assembly because there's basically no workers in the factory. So this week it just started and we thought, okay, we'll have more information if we delay this particular update by at least a week, so we can give you more accurate information. But it happens to be that there's still not that much more information to share. The only thing we know right now is that it's confirmed that we have delays from suppliers. It is confirmed that the factory is catching up with productions. And we're assuming for now, to be safe, that mass production is going to be delayed by 2 weeks. Now, that would mean somewhere around the 20th of April. But this might, happen earlier. We're not sure yet. We're still trying to get the final confirmation. Then for PVT, which is essential before going into mass production, because that kind of tells you this is the green light, this is the final cost, this is the optimal way of assembling everything. That is going to still happen this week, or it's going to happen next week. We're not 100% sure yet. Once we have some final dates and we have more accurate information, you're going to receive a notification email with that information, and we're also going to update the timeline on the 60HE project page, so you can always double check there to see what the new dates are going to be. What does that mean for your delivery date? Kind of assume from whatever you expected now plus 2 weeks. That would be the safest to assume. In general, I saw the question coming up in the comments about what is the delivery date going to be. If you go to the product status page, which you can find in the menu on the top in the help section, then you can actually fill in your order number there and get an estimate of a delivery estimate or a shipment estimate. And this means when are we going to ship your order to you. If you go otherwise to the Wooting hub, which is also on the top menu, you can log into the Wooting hub, check your order, and also see an estimate of when we're going to ship it to you and what the current status is of your order. Now, if you have air freight, originally we expected it to deliver at the end of April. If you would have had sea freight, it would have been by the end of May. Now, because we have that delay, everything is probably going to be plus 2 weeks. But the closer we get to the mass production, the more accurate I can start being with estimates. So that's in general what you can expect. Now, there is some more information here, and this is pretty critical for us. We didn't only have that COVID lockdown, we were also hit with some new information, which is some serious IC shortage. Now, there's already been an IC shortage over the last couple of years because of COVID, because of the surge of demand, and because of the undersupply. But it was looking like it was stabilizing. We had stocked up on some of the key IC parts that had the longest lead times. But then suddenly we get struck by one component that suddenly had a year lead time. We didn't expect it, and it's causing a serious issue in our production forecasting. Now, I don't want to go too far and too deep into it in this update. It warrants its own update because there's a lot to tell there. But what the immediate impact is going to be right now is that for the 60HE production that we're going to do very, very soon, that one is already sold out for 90%. So we just have 10% of that stock left for sale. This also means that most likely by the time that we start doing the shipments, that stock is completely sold out. We have another round of production coming on, which is a smaller, much smaller production than the production we're going to do now for the 60HE. So we have that stock that we're looking for, but that's going to take at least a month longer. So what's the key takeaway from this is that if you know somebody, or you have a friend or anybody you know that was interested in the 60HE and they want to receive it within the next 2 months, they should place the order now. If they don't do it now, then it's gonna take a while, because once we finish that second round smaller production, there's gonna be a pretty big gap in the next production, and that might take 2 or 3 months. And that's because of the IC shortage issue, which is gonna be a completely different update that I'll get into. So let's close this update with a final and nicer note, is these dye sublimated PVT keycaps. So if you look closely, these are actually 2 different sets. This is from supplier A, this is from supplier B. This is actually the set we received first. This is a set we received recently. And it's all part of our procuring process, where we take at least 3 suppliers and try to get a quote, make samples, and compare the quality. Now, this dye sublimated PVT set was manufactured a little bit different from this one. The quality of the dye sublimation and from the keycaps is slightly different, and we're still kind of looking at which one did a better job. And when it comes to colors, they're both kind of wrong. This one is a bit too dark, this one is too light, and it's somewhere in between, but that's something we fix afterwards. I just want to say is that we're still making progress with this, but it's gotten lower on our list because the highest priority is to make sure we can manufacture your 60HE and you can start enjoying this amazing keyboard. Now, I hope to see you in the next update, which is probably in a month, and see you. Right. I forgot something. Air freight. So we've seen some comments about what is air freight, or there's some confusion between what is sea freight and air freight. And right now you still have a chance to actually upgrade to air freight. Well, the thing is that when we do the shipment from the factory to the warehouse, we can do it either by boat or we can do it by airplane. Now, when we do it by boat, it's like the regular way. It can take up to like 60 to 80 days, depending on the region. But when we do it by air freight, it takes like 10 days or 20 days to actually ship it to location. So it's immensely faster than sea freight. And the problem right now that we've experienced a lot with the whole COVID situation is that sea freight is unreliable. Like, you just, sometimes it can get stuck somewhere, or there's congestion at the harbor, or you get switched to a different boat and the whole delivery takes longer. So in general, we recommend you to upgrade to air freight so you can get your keyboard earlier. If you do go for sea freight, just be prepared. If there's a delay because of the sea freight shipment, then that's just gonna be it. All right. That's it. See you.